I served in the Marine Corps for 27 years, 1982 to 2008.
And your MOS was?
My MOS was Marine Corps as well. 3051 Supply Basic Warehouseman.
Okay. So what we're trying to do here is just to talk about the legacy of General Gray and share some moments, memories of him and what he meant to you as a Marine. First, if you could, where did you first come in contact with General Gray? And if you could just answer in complete sentences, I came in contact with General Gray or whatever.
Well, I first came in contact with General Gray when we were doing a force march, and he came out and gave everybody the weekend off. So that was when I first seen him, when he was commanding general of Camp Lejeune.
And what year was that?
That was
roughly
1983.
1983, and he gave you the weekend off?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember kind of what he said when he was out there?
Well, when he came back, we formed up, was in formation, and he came out and spoke to everybody, tell us how good we were. We were the backbone of, and my unit was 1-8. We were the backbone of the Corps, and that made us feel good. We all survived the hump, and he told us we had a 96.
That must have surprised you.
Well, it was good because we needed a break.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's specifically in relation to your experience in Beirut. Talk about your connection to General Gray then. Kind of give us a brief synopsis of where and where you were when he next connected with you following Beirut.
During the time we served in Beirut, we came back. We was coming back, and when we arrived back to Camp Lejeune, General Gray came to me. I was in a wheelchair, and he placed a Purple Heart on my chest and said, "You deserve this. You earned it." And I was wheeled into the hospital. I wasn't moving very good at the time, but I was proud that it was General Gray that gave me my Purple Heart.
What sort of injuries did you suffer while you were in Beirut?
I sustained second and third degree burns, broken shoulder, collapsed lung. My left cheek was ripped open. Burns on my legs, shoulders, arms, chest. All my pigmentation in my face was burnt off. And I had some shrapnel wounds.
When you talk to other folks about General Gray, what types of things do you tell them?
One of the things I recognized about General Gray was, every time I seen him, he was always in camis, fatigues. And it was noticeable. Well, it wasn't noticeable for a young Marine to see a general officer in camis as often as we seen him. And it always made me feel comfortable around him. So anytime he came around the unit, we didn't look at him as being above us. He was with us. And just him being in those camis made a difference.
In your own personal life, what are some of the things that General Gray taught you and how you treat others, going forward? Like, what are the types of things that you modeled yourself after that he taught you in your dealings in life after the Marine Corps or while you were in the Marine Corps and you moved on?
Well, from the time I met General Gray, I always felt that he kept us on the same level as him. He talked to us in the same level. He was very open to his love for the Marine Corps and he demonstrated that. That poured into me of knowing that how high he was in rank, that I loved it also. And I came in here to retire, hopefully to reach as high as he did. But that was the lesson that I learned from him. It doesn't make a difference how powerful or how privileged you are. If you treat everybody the same, you'll continue to go far.
What rank did you retire at?
I retired as Master Sergeant.
Master Sergeant. Okay. All right. Is there anything else that we might have left out or anything like that?
Well, one of the things I noticed and I really learned from General Gray is he holds the leaders accountable. Troops makes mistakes, but he always go to the leadership and hold them accountable for not teaching the younger Marines. And I took that lesson, I carried that throughout the Marine Corps. I always held my NCOs accountable for the things that those junior Marines were doing.
Fantastic. I don't have any other questions. I appreciate all your input.
Okay.
It's been great. Thanks.
No, thank you.
Yeah. Did they also interview you for Beirut as well a couple of days ago, or was it?
No, we did not.
No.
Oh, okay. Should we get that, Ernie? Would you care to talk to Roland about that?
On my
The questions that you all use for that too.
This as well. These are the ones that we were going through.
Okay.
Anything that is anything regarding
Okay.
the time there. Really, what we're doing right now is we're putting together a piece of this. As you know, this year was a pretty big anniversary. It's the 40th anniversary of it. So we're working with the city of Jacksonville to put together a series, a 2-part series on Beirut and what the city of Jacksonville has done. I don't know if you've been to the wall.
Oh, I'm in there all the time.
Yes. So we've been interviewing people that have had a lot of influence over the construction of that, as well as veterans that came from Beirut as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Yeah. So our responsibility really is to capture the military side.
Yes.
And then they want to capture, how the community kind of rallied around
Okay.
our Marines in the aftermath of Beirut. It would be great if we could just get another, 5 or 10 minutes of your time.
I'm here.
Okay. And you may have to repeat the extent of your injuries, what exactly happened, that sort of thing, because it'll be different. So where exactly were you on October 23rd, 1983? And what were you doing at the time of the bombing?
Well, October 23rd, I was in my room at the time of the bombing and sleeping in my quarters. Actually, my room was about 1 o'clock to the entrance of the front of the building, where the truck went in the building. And earlier that morning, once we got in condition 2, I went down and used the head, went outside and used the head, came back in, and since all we heard was small arms fire, I took off my flak jacket and camis and had my long johns on and got back in my cot and strapped my weapon back around my leg and went to sleep. When I woke up, I was buried, not knowing at the time that it was the entire building, but I was buried, laying there, trying to figure out what happened.
Mm-hmm. Do you remember the explosion at all?
I do not remember the explosion. I just know that I was laying on my stomach. I had my right arm dragging in some rubble, and I couldn't feel my left arm. So I was using my right arm, my right hand, to find my right arm, thinking that it was off. And I grabbed the hand, didn't feel it. I didn't have any feeling in it. I think that's when my shoulder was broke. But I had a ring on my finger that I knew was mine, and I grabbed it and held on to it, thinking that if they was going to get me out, I was going to take my arm with me and hopefully they can sew it back on. But I laid there for a while thinking that eventually they'll get me. And that's what happened. I started hearing somebody call down, "Bud, you okay? You okay?" And I yelled up, "Get me out of here." And I couldn't move, I couldn't get up. So I laid there for a while and trying to make myself laugh, just trying to stay calm. And they started moving these big boulders, and I started feeling the sand roll down on my neck, and then I started feeling a little bit of cool air. And that's when I knew they was getting close to getting me out. They pulled me out, rushed me into a building, laid me down. I couldn't see anything. I couldn't move. And I was just shuffled around until they put me on a helicopter and took me to the Iwo Jima. Then they laid me down again on the floor, and a little while later, they picked me up again and put me on a plane, on the helicopter again, and then put me on a plane, and then took me to Germany.
And what were if a doctor looked at you, what would the extent of your injuries?
Well, my pigmentation was burnt off my face. I had a hole in the side of my jaw on my left cheek that was clear through. I had shrapnel wounds, second and third degree burns, broken shoulder, collapsed lung, my eardrums were bust. And that was about it. When I woke up in the hospital, I was paralyzed. They kept scraping my feet, my hands, and I just thought I was going to be dependent on somebody to take care of me for the rest of my life. And before I came in the Marine Corps, I was a professional boxer. So it was hard to lay in the bed thinking that.
How long did it take you to recover to the point where you were functional?
Well, when I was in the hospital, I started getting my fit movement back. And so one night, I rolled out of the bed and crawled into the bathroom because I wanted to see my face. Everybody that came by my bed, they looked at me and they had tears in their eyes. And so I wanted to see what they was looking at.
Mm-hmm.
So I crawled into the bathroom, pulled myself up on the sink. And when I looked in the mirror, I couldn't recognize myself. And then a couple nurses came in looking for me, and they brought me back to my bed. And at that time, I gave up. I didn't want nobody giving me no more medicine, no more painkiller. I didn't want to live that way. And then one of the doctors came by and he told me, well, I want you to meet the plastic surgeon. And so as I laid there, the plastic surgeon came up and he looked at my face and he knew that I noticed it. I crawled into the bathroom and his words were, "If you think you look bad now, you should have seen what I had to work with." And he gave me a photo of my face wide open. And I asked him, "Can I keep that picture?" He gave me that picture and I kept it with me in my left breast pocket my entire career. And it helped get me through 26 more years.
For sure. That's an amazing story. What was your role at the time?
I was, as far as my job,
Yeah, while you were in Beirut.
I was supply. We issued out gear. When news crew came in, we issued flak jackets out to them. Would go out on patrols. I would go to the embassies to deliver MREs, MREs to the line companies, personal effects. When we had the first deaths out there, Captain Losi and Stetson Ortega, I had to achieve their personal effects. And it was real.
It sure was. What does the annual observance mean to you? And why do you go and participate every year? What does it do for you?
Well, one of the things that it does for me is it helps me see the guys that I grew up with. When I came into the Marine Corps, I was 22 years old in boot camp. So I was 23 during the bombing. And I still have a close-knit relationship with the guys that I've known for 40 years, over 40 years. But coming to the wall helps me remember the good times that we had. You know, the celebrations, the small celebrations we used to have around the barracks, the trips that we took to, each one of our family's house. When I retired on the 23rd of October at the Beirut Wall. The last time I re-enlisted, it was on the 23rd of October. So I always filled that day in with something positive. And it was ironic that I met a young lady. Her birthday was on the 23rd of October. And I was like, well, somebody trying to tell me something. So we got married. And didn't last long, but we got married.
That's all. Well, Emanuel, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on General Gray and certainly Beirut Memorial as well. We'll use all of it. We really appreciate it. Appreciate your service and your
Thank you,
sacrifice.